Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video. I've got a whole new setup and I feel like I'm about to react to some diss track or whatever it is, but in this video what we're going to be talking about is beating your competition. Now, I often say this, but the SMA space is not saturated, right? There's still plenty of space for newcomers to come in and do their thing and sign new clients, etc., etc. So it's not a saturated space, but it is a competitive space. And quite frankly, if you're in business, it's a competition, right? If you, for example, listen to top entrepreneurs like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Sam Walton, etc., etc. Yes, they don't pay too much attention to the competitor, right? But it's this healthy competition that actually drives them and that keeps them going and that keeps them innovating, right? Competition is just vital for innovation, right? Because if you don't have someone on your ass, right? If you don't have someone stealing business away from you, if you start slacking, then you're not going to really innovate. You're not really going to push to get better, right? So me personally, I personally love competition. Now, the reason why I quite like the B2B space and the service-based business is simply because there's going to be competition to sign those big clients. Why? Because sure, there's always going to be new businesses that come around and that don't have many people reaching out to them that want their business. But if you're going for those large clients, for those large retainers and just the more established and accomplished clients, there's going to be quite a lot of people reaching out to them, right? And quite frankly, there's no better feeling than being able to sign those larger retainers and be able to keep that client for a long time, even though they have so many agencies fighting for their business, right? And so what I want to share with you guys today are 3 areas that I think you must master to beat out your competition and 3 ways that you can do so very, very effectively. This video is going to be a bit of a longer one, but honestly, not having this, 3 areas in place and really working very well for you is going to mean that you are going to lose out to a lot of competitors in your space, right? And on the flip side, having these areas very well taken care of and having paid attention to these areas is going to mean that you win those larger clients. And as I said, there's no better feeling than signing a client when you know they've been reached out to by so many agencies simply because you have the tighter systems, the tighter processes, and you excel at these 3 areas. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The first area is outreach. Now, the first thing that I will say is the time that most agency owners spend lead sourcing. It is honestly mind-boggling how much time is wasted on lead sourcing. And one of the things that I'm really big on, and one of the things that you guys may know about me, is that we don't want to invest energy into people that haven't shown much interest, right? And so the correlation between us investing a lot of energy and them showing interest is directly correlated, okay? So if they haven't shown that much interest, don't put that much time into lead sourcing and qualifying and doing all this research into that lead, right? As long as they're qualified and they're in your space and it's clear that they sell the products that you help other brands sell and they're in that space, that is pretty much all you have to do in terms of research. Yes, sure, you might do a bit of research into the ads that they're currently running, maybe pop into the ad library real quick and see what they're currently doing, but it's not much that you need to do. I actually see this with students that come to me and just the sheer amount wasted on lead sourcing. Right, compiling all this information on a lead that hasn't even shown any interest and that may not even, probably won't even answer your email. Putting them in the CRM and then adding the founder, the co-founder, the president of the company, how many years they've been around, what are some of the marketing avenues that they're tapping into already. Honestly, it is just nonsense, guys, and it's going to waste you a lot of time. Why? Because all that time that you're putting into lead sourcing, someone else is putting into the actual outreach, into reaching out to clients, into starting conversations. And one of those people is me, right? And so at this point, I don't really do much lead sourcing simply because I've got much better ways and more streamlined ways of doing that at this point. So I pretty much just invest all my time into outreach. And the reason why I'm telling you guys this is because I made this mistake when I started out. I thought that lead sourcing had to be this very we had to find the most quality lead possible and then reach out to them. No. And you realize once you do a lot of outreach, you realize that there's so much time wasted in the lead sourcing because most of the clients that you reach out to, whether you do a lot of research on them or you don't, are not going to answer. Right? So why waste your time? Let them qualify themselves to you. And another thing that I will say is so many people just assume things, right? And it's honestly one of the things that I'm really, really against simply because I like to be very methodical, very mathematical. And so I don't like to assume things. Why do you want to assume that, someone who's already running Facebook ads does not want your service? Or why do you assume that just because someone doesn't have a Facebook pixel installed doesn't want to run Facebook ads or doesn't want to, get their marketing solved? Why do you assume that? Maybe they just got started, maybe they're doing amazingly well in retail, but they haven't really tapped into the e-commerce, but they're doing like millions and millions a month on retail, and they've got the resources to invest into e-commerce. They just need someone like you to come in and do that for them. So don't assume, let them do the talking, right? Let the data do the talking, and don't just assume when it comes to the lead sourcing. And the final thing that I will say on that is I would recommend a split between 80% actually doing the outreach and 20% doing the lead sourcing. So if, for example, you invest 2 hours into doing outreach on a single week, which is not much, so that's 10 hours a week if you're working from Monday to Friday, eight of those hours a week should be spent doing outreach. 2 of those hours should be spent doing lead sourcing at the very, very maximum for lead sourcing. So that is the first thing that I will say on the outreach side of things. And the final thing that I will say is make sure that your externals are on point. Okay, and what I mean by that is, if you're reaching out via email, for example, make sure that on the email signature, right, you have your LinkedIn profile linked. You also have your website. Just make sure that there is a face to the actual outreach, right? And a face that they can maybe relate to, and a face that can build a bit of rapport, especially if you're going through the outreach route. Now, if you're going on Facebook, if you're going through the Facebook route or the Instagram route, make sure that you have a well-optimized profile. This does not mean that you have to have hundreds of thousands of followers. This just means that if you have pictures that are unprofessional, right? If you have pictures with your friends having a beer at a bar, whatever it is, probably not the best pictures to have, okay? So make sure that you are giving that professional look, that premium look. And it's one of the things that I see being very overlooked by agency owners. And quite frankly, like, if you don't have a good premium look, then don't expect premium clients. And that is just the matter of fact. I'm not saying waste a bunch of time putting together this nice looking website and that looks amazing, right? You don't need to hire a developer, right? But at least have the branding on point, have a nice looking logo, have a nice looking website, right? It doesn't have to be a hugely complex website, but just have the branding on point, have a good banner on your profile, have a professional picture for your Instagram or your Facebook. Just have the branding on point, or else don't expect to attract high quality clients. It's kind of like the same in life, right? If you don't give yourself a premium kind of look, if you don't actually care about the way you look and present yourself to others, don't expect to attract high quality people or people that actually take care of themselves and look the part. So the same thing applies in business. The second thing is sales. And when it comes to sales, I'm talking about the meeting, right? Because there's a really big edge that you can get over a lot of agency owners. Why? Because even if your outreach is not great and if you're not landing that many meetings, the meetings that you do land, if you get this right, you're going to sign a lot more clients than they do. Let's just say that they have, for example, a 10% close rate and you have a 30% close rate. You don't need to land that many meetings or as many as they do, simply because you have the meeting process on point, right? And so what I would say when it comes to the meeting, I'm not going to get into the sales side of things. I've had plenty of videos on this topic. You can check this one out after this video. But the main thing that I want to say, when it comes to the meeting, if you're not in the e-commerce space, I don't know what you're doing. No, I'm just joking, obviously. But when it comes to the e-commerce space, you need to make sure that you have a 360 approach. So don't just look at business growth from a Facebook ads lens or from a paid ads lens even. You want to have a holistic view and understanding of what it takes to actually build an e-commerce brand. And that is really what's going to make you very valuable. And trust me when I say this, I've done both. I've done the very kind of salesy hacks and tactics, and I've learned all the techniques, and I've been through most of the trainings out there for sales from the top gurus. And what I can tell you is what actually matters the most is being very valuable when it comes to your craft. And so the reason why at this point I sign clients with good ease is simply because I have a 360 approach to e-commerce growth. I can talk to them about customer service. I can talk to them about product fulfillment even. I can talk to them about the customer journey. I can talk to them about funnel optimization, website optimization. I can talk to them about the whole marketing strategy. I can recommend them, for example, some front-end offers that we could try. On the creative side, I can actually recommend some of the creatives that we should be running. On the ad copy side, some of the ad copies that we should be running. Email marketing, even the apps that they should be using for their Shopify and their store. And so it's really this 360 approach, and they really, really value that. And you should really care about that. Why? Because this is also going to impact your success as an agency owner. You need to know about the components of the business that actually affects the success of your paid ads campaigns, right? Because if you're driving a ton of traffic to a website, sure, you can tell them, oh, I'm driving hundreds of thousands of people to your website, but if they don't convert, that's going to show up on your purchase conversion value on the Facebook Ads Manager, which is going to directly correlate to the return on ad spend that you can get them, which is going to directly correlate to how happy they're going to be with you, right? So have this 360 approach, and that's really what's going to make you much more valuable to them, and then being able to see that it's really going to just ease so much anxiety and stress that most that most business owners have when it comes to building their brand online. So that's really what I would say when it comes to the sales. Now, if you are doing ads for real estate agents, right, what I would then recommend is don't just take a look at paid ads or Facebook ads. I would actually argue don't become a Facebook ads expert, but become a real estate marketing expert, right? And so, you know, talk to your clients about how they can follow up with the leads that you're going to be bringing them. Talk to them about, you know, sales strategies that they can use to close more leads, right? Talk to them about how you're going to integrate their CRM maybe with the Facebook ads leads. So I guess from one place to the next, completely automated, right? But talk to them about all this stuff, not just Facebook ads. In fact, I would urge you guys not to become a Facebook ads expert, but have a 360 approach, have a Hawkeye view and a really good understanding of your niche and what it really takes to build a brand in that niche. The third way that you can get an edge over competitors is just simply by keeping your clients for a longer time. Okay, and my agency at this point has a 14-month retention rate, which is really high for this industry. And the reason why that is because I put monastic obsession on my client experience, my client reporting, and my communication, both internally and externally with my team. When clients leave you, they're not going to stop Facebook ads, right? When clients leave you, they're going to go to another agency. And the reason why they're going to go to another agency, yes, sure, results are going to be a part of that, but it's also going to be just have they enjoyed the experience with you, right? And that really comes down to two things. One, the whole ecosystem that you built for them, so reporting, for example, and number two, communication. Have you communicated well enough? Have they really, you know, have they connected with you? Have you built enough rapport with them, right? And so when it comes to the ecosystem, I personally recommend that you put enough time into building really good reporting sheets that make it very clear for the client and where the client can just pop in at any point in the day, right, on a daily basis, and they can just get a very crystal understanding of the main KPIs that they should be looking at and how well you are doing. Not just send them, you know, the link to the Facebook Ads Manager and tell them, hey, look at this yourself, right? You really want to make sure that you break things down for them and you make it very, very clear, right? And you make it honestly very, very effortless to understand how well you guys are doing for them. The next thing that I will say on that front is the communication, right? So you want to make sure that you are not slacking when it comes to communication, because one of the things that I will say is, look, results can come and go, right? And there's a lot of things that play a role in the results that you're getting. For example, trends, for example, the current social landscape, right? Variations in the financial climate, seasons even. And so there's a lot of factors that are going to play into your performance. And that's not always going to be down to having an A player, which you guys absolutely should have, right? But there's going to be different things that are going to affect the performance. What can stay at a steady A and just excellence is your communication and the way you show up for clients. And so you really want to make sure that you keep that very consistent, and you want to make sure that you have that on lock when you onboard clients. The final thing that I will say on that front is, look, I'm the biggest advocate when it comes to removing yourself as much from the equation and having time, location, freedom, because you really have to find a good balance with communication, right? You don't want to over communicate with them, because quite frankly that could overwhelm them, and also you don't want to waste too much time communicating when you could be putting that time into actually getting them results or just enjoying your life. Okay, so that's what I would say. But at the same time, there needs to be a very strong element of communication, and ideally you want to make sure that it is predictable, and then you involve your contractor also in it. Okay, you want your contractor speaking to the client as well, ideally. Otherwise you're really running a one-man show, and it's really not a great feeling. So guys, those are the 3 areas that you must master to get ahead of your competition in the SMMA space. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and drop a big thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. It really means the world to me. Also, leave down below any comments, any questions you may have on this video, and I'll be sure to check those out. Lastly, if you haven't checked out the free private mentorship community on Facebook, the Client Closers, honestly an incredible community full of like-minded people looking to scale their agency and level up in life. And so if you want to join that tight-knit community of Client Closers, go ahead and check out the link in bio and you can apply for it. And as always guys, hope everything's going well in your agency journey, and I will speak to you in the next one. Peace.